Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the Triangle Curling Club in beautiful Durham, North Carolina for the Juniors National Curling Qualifiers. My name is Zach Burley. Alongside me, Zakai, Siegel, and basically what's going on here today is there are 6 host sites for the Juniors National Curling Championships. This is one of the 6. There is a men's and a women's division for the juniors, and the winner of each division from this event will earn an automatic qualifier to the Juniors National Curling Championship. We will have in front of us 4 sheets going on simultaneously. There are 2 ways to consume today's media. There is the one mainstream on the YouTube channel, which will just show you this the whole time. They will not change the angle. It will be this whole thing. So you can choose whichever sheet you like to look at and just look at it. The other stream will see us changing around camera angles, looking down on specific sheets and showing the camera angles you would not otherwise be able to see on the main screen. Whether for the good or for the bad, you'll have to listen to us the whole time. You can decide that. But either way, we have lots of ways for you to watch today's events. So what exactly is going on in front of you? 4 sheets left to right. Betteridge and Merrill on the left-hand side. That is your 3-4 matchup. In the middle are our finals. So on the outside sheets, we have our other matches, and in the middles, we have our finals. Best and Carlson in the men's division, Neal and Tamboli on sheet C, which is just right of center for our women's division final. And then the Triangle Curling Club Peachtree team taking on Team Taylor over on sheet D. Gives you a bit of an idea. The ones that are up for automatic qualifiers are the 2 sheets in the middle. So Zakai, really fun opportunity for us to get to see these young players compete and be able to play for something very meaningful here, an opportunity to get an automatic qualifier into the national championship. There's nothing quite like it.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about today. I mean, this is a new thing for Triangle Curling to be hosting a qualifying event. for the juniors. This is the first time we've done that. So any of these teams here, they could go on to do some great things. I'm really, really excited and happy to be here.
Yes, it'll be a lot of fun to see how the game develops. They are 8 in games on all sheets. We have a great collection of athletes. This is an event that has been going on in some form or another, the Juniors Curling Championship, since 1974 for the men and 1987 for the women. Now, Triangle Curling Club hasn't been around that long, but it is the first time they are hosting this event among the 5 other host locations.
And for those who tuned in right at the top of the stream, they saw that these curlers were played out with the bagpipes. That is a nice traditional element of curling. You're going all the way back to curling roots, that it did start from Scotland. Everyone thinks of curling being a Canadian sport. The vast majority of curling does take place in Canada, but it all started in Scotland. Folks throwing stones down frozen lakes, and so we hold on to those traditional elements to this very day. It's great.
And when the ice thawed out, they were playing golf. So the Scots really have a strong handhold on on the world of sports. So we're just in number 1 of our men's final on sheet B, which is just left of center. That is Team Best, skipped by Ryan Best, facing off against Team Carlson, skipped by Evan Carlson. Our women's division final just to their right on sheet C, just right of center. That's Team Neal, throwing Addison Neal the skip, and then Team Tamboli, skipped by Anna Tamboli, who is the juniors national defending champion. Her team won it back in 2022, so we talked about high caliber of competition here. We have the defending champion in the house, literally and figuratively.
Get over.
All right, early on in this end, we see teams setting up their guards. You know, we have the free guard rule in effect, so those earliest stones, as long as they are thrown in front of the house, cannot be removed by the opposing team. So this gives the skips a chance to set up their strategies for the end.
So sweeping down there on sheet C, that is Team Tamboli. Now throwing red, you'll have Team Neal. This is Alexa Pekowitz.
Behind. Pick up the weight a little bit, but you're
You
fine.
can see on the left-hand side, it'll be Pekowitz to deliver the stone. And you can see Addison Neal in the house with the broom.
Push a little bit wide.
Always try and curl these stones around the guards, curling a bit early. Tap off the yellow guards. Might tap one all the way into the house, and it does. The yellow gets the biter.
I don't mind.
Now it'll be over to Tamboli to throw.
Callers also try and curl around those front guards. And that's the first end. So at the beginning of every single curling game, skips and teams have to get used to the ice. The ice is always a little bit different every single time you play on any given team. So this first end is trying to get a feel for the weight of the stones that they have to throw and how much curl is in the ice.
That is Claire Chapman delivering the stone.
Goes a bit far. That one will not stay in play.
Get it last one you had before, William.
Take a look over at sheet B now, where our men's final is going on. The ones of you that are watching the main stream, you will not see us cut camera angles, but you can still watch along with us, focusing on one sheet or the other. You can see here, yellow delivering.
Something closer. Whoa.
I still like the same thing, Heidi. This is okay. Okay.
Good sweep, good shot.
Normal.
Now sitting 2 for yellow.
Now, neither of those stones is protected by the guard, so either of them could be taken out. Looks like we do have a takeout call here.
Gotta go, Ben. Always straight, always straight. Always straight, always straight. All the way, come on. Get.
Hold the line, don't want it to curl into the guard.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That's fine, Heidi.
Just holding it on because of the free guard rule.
That was the fifth rock.
Now, of course, they could have capped it up. It might have ended up in the house, not all the way through, but they're selecting there to no tick rule, basically.
Same thing, Eva.
Good about like here. There. Henrik, you don't have to skip. Stay in the house. You want to put one closer to
Actually,
guard?
after some
Come on,
debate
spread
on
out.
sheet B, they decided to put that red stone in. The two skips went over and met and just discussed exactly what they were going to do to remedy the situation, as it is
You
in
can afford to
curling.
be a little narrow.
It's always players now. Always players. Go, get here.
See a yellow draw in for Team Tamboli.
Pretty narrow.
That's a
Away.
beautiful shot.
Finally able to tuck one in there behind
Don't
the
worry about
guard.
it. If it slows, I'm good with it. Okay, just leave it then. Whoa. It's fine. I will. Yeah, okay. I like it well. Good shot.
Can you see this? Yeah. You want to go for the double or this one? Double. No. All right, normal. Give me 9-5. Yeah.
So now it'll be Julia Pekowitz on sheet C. She's going to deliver this next red in as Tamboli was finally able to get a yellow in and get a really nice berry on it.
Now there is room for a red stone to curl in and out count this yellow. It's going to have to be a very tight shot. See if they figure out enough of the ice.
Always Haley. Always Haley out.
Oh, come on,
She's
guard.
in number one, so things can be very tricky.
Here or here?
Learning the lay of the land.
Here or here? What do you want?
It's a little bit light, and it's going to curl into the guards rather than get behind them. But red does end up with a split on their stones, and that does put two stones in the house. If they can manage to remove that center yellow, suddenly they're sitting two.
Wise, bro. Where?
Now Ava Chapman, Team Tamboli.
Doesn't like the fact that red has stones in the house. They're going to try and save their space.
Let's not say again, then you're wrong.
With a bit of a bad ricochet and take out their own stone is what I'm talking about now. That red biter is way on the side. Now it is counting two.
Your weight was fine.
Same shot, let's wait.
Yellow looking good on sheet B.
You want to go to the
Sitting
other side?
three. Calling up for a guard to be thrown
now.
now.
Certainly that's a lot of exposed stones. They are sitting in
Bring me
front
down.
of the tee line, which is convenient for them and makes those stones a little bit more difficult to get rid of. And it's more difficult team best sneak a stone onto the button.
Okay, Sylvan,
Right
can
now
you
they're
see?
just trying to defend the stones they've got.
William, let me
Probably
know
trying
the way,
to put
Des.
this one right on the center line if they can.
William, let's wait. Whoa. Whoa. It'll be fine. Can you bring it down to connect? Just connect.
Will into the house.
Good.
Add another to their plethora of rocks inside.
All right, not bad, not bad. It does freeze against the yellow, which makes the two of them as a unit harder to remove.
You can see how quickly they're already delivering the next stone. They know exactly what they want to do.
They need to clear some space, trying to sweep to hold this stone. Ah, but it curls a little bit too much. Does not make contact.
Okay, so I think
Give Team Carlson another chance to defend.
Okay.
For that
Right
high
here?
guard.
Yeah. How's ice?
Where?
Pretty straight. Oh, is it fast or slow?
Where?
It's slow.
Get in here! Get in here!
Yep.
Curl it hard! Hard curl! Hard moving!
Rather be light than heavy.
So now we'll see we're down to the skips throwing their stones.
Just it! This? Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to throw that guard and seal up what would be a very big opening end.
William? William?
No.
Yeah, William.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Good. Really nice. Good shot.
Once again, just ends up in the house.
Yep, still trying to get a feel for the ice. They want to put up the guard. Their stones are ending up a few feet back. Again, this isn't a terrible situation for Team Carlson because it is very difficult for Team Best to get an effective stone into this house. But because there is no guard, they could potentially throw a big stone here and cause a lot of disruption.
Ryan Best delivering. Hucks this one down the ice. Trying to break up that yellow wall inside the house. Gets some contact. In the end, removes just one.
There's only one stone from each team left on sheet B.
Yeah, that's not going to get I want to.
It'll mitigate some of the damage.
The guard here.
They need a really spectacular shot to close this out.
Yeah, here.
Let's take a look over at sheet C where they're also down to the final rocks. This is the last rock for Team Tamboli. You can see entering the house here, and there's also, once again, a lot going against them. Pekowicz is going to give it her all to sweep this one straight out. They're sitting 4.
Oh my.
And remember, they have the hammer. So now Team Neal, Addison Neal, is going to be able to deliver this in, possibly get 5 in the opening in.
It is a very comfortable position to start this game. Unfortunately, that yellow stone, it just had a little bit too much weight on it, didn't stick around. Now, as long as they can squeeze through the gap and get into the house, but should be able to sit 5 for curlers of this caliber. It should not be much of a problem.
So here's the delivery from Neal.
We're just staying close. They don't feel like they can add anything to it.
It looks fine. It's good. It looks really good.
Of course, they're in a good situation here where they can always let this rock through. I don't think that's going to happen.
It is going to settle. Very nice shot and a very, very strong end for Team Neal to start this game.
Neal with the hammer gets 5. Let's take a look over at our other final for the men. Carlson Just going to nestle another one in there. It's
trying to tuck in, doesn't outcount the red.
So now, unlike on sheet C, there is an opportunity for the team with the hammer to try and salvage something here. Now, that is a very difficult situation to be in because there are a lot of stones, and finding your way in is going to be tough because there's just a lot of stopping power with the stones lined up there.
The only shot I can see for Team Best is to come in and ricochet slightly off that yellow stone to the right of the house and ricochet in towards the button. If they can get any sort of coverage on the button, they will be shot rock.
So here's Ryan Best. Let's see what he can do. Team with the hammer looking at 4 yellows inside the house.
They're trying to bring that stone over a bit. They get contact, but no roll. Still, this does cut down the number of shot yellow rocks from 4 to 2.
So a very good job of cutting things down. So that's just an example there of an ability to cut things down from a possibility of letting up 4 to letting up just 2 to Carlson. And of course, they'll keep the hammer here, so if they can score 2 with it, basically back on track to where you want to be.
Right, you have to judge each stone based on the house that you have in front of you. The best thing they could do was to mitigate how many stones yellow had, and they managed to do that well.
So sheets A and D, those are our outside sheets. They are still on end 1, where we've reached end number 2 on both of our center final sheets. On sheet C, it is Julia Pekowitz who is in the house holding the broom. Addison Neal is the one throwing skip stones. Just to clarify there. And of course, you're at liberty to kind of finagle that however you'd like. You can kind of mix it up, and everybody has to throw the same stones. You can't change that up per se, but everything else pretty much is within a little bit of fluctuation. So it's Marold and Betteridge here. This team Marold. Right now they are just barely shot rock there.
Yep, and there's so many stones sitting in front of the house. Very difficult to get into any other scoring positions. But again, because of how many guards there are, each team is kind of reluctant to throw down a side of the sheet with the opposing stones on it. They don't want to accidentally tap one of those opposing stones in. So we're seeing Betteridge continuously throw down the left side of the ice, because if they hit something, it'll be one of their own. While as Merrill is throwing down the right side of the ice, because if they hit something, it'll be one of their own. So a possible plan B is a tap up as opposed to the draw. That's why we're seeing a clear division down the center line between which side has which colored stones on it.
So Emma Betteridge, skipping her team, will go down to pick up her final yellow stone of end number 1. Just outside of shot rock, seeing if they can get something in here.
Yep, they just want to draw around the entire field of stones and come right in, tuck in on the forefoot. Would be ideal for them. That would give them shot rock.
Delivery from Betteridge.
well, but don't be bold.
Quite a bit light on that one. Not able to get the distance they need to get all the way into the house.
One thing now, Red probably won't be able to follow them, Team Merrill, because that stone there would make it difficult for that big draw around the outside. Looks like they might try the other end, but still, if you don't have hammer and you give up a single here, which is what they're sitting on right now, that would not be a bad result in the first end.
Sure, for a defending team,
Yep.
without hammer, giving up one is not bad at all, because that ensures you get hammer in the following end while minimizing the number of points scored by the opposing team.
No, land on it. Freeze. Don't freeze before the guard. Back forward, team.
Looks like a little bit of deliberation. I think they're trying to figure out if they can work the angles to their advantage and do a tap up on one of their own reds and get that into the house, as opposed to trying to curl all the way around the entire field of stones.
So right now you're a little bit playing with house money because you've got your 1 point. Now, of course, that can always change. You can't always hit your own. As we see a great shot over on sheet C. That cleared out the house beautifully. That was Team Tamboli. Cleared out the house and left them sitting just one. So now we'll see how Team Neal respond. Without the hammer, but with a 5-point lead.
They're going to get a takeout of their own. Hit and stick. Sit and one. And another takeout call. They're just playing the trade game over there, shot for shot.
Right on the money. Rolls a little bit outside. Just trading shots over there. Merrill is about to deliver on A for the final stone of end number one. So we'll see after that deliberation what they came up with.
All right, so they did try to decide to curl down the left side of the ice. Again, a little bit too much weight this early end. Still trying to figure out the ice. That stone will have no impact on the final score for the end.
But no harm done. Still one for Red. So, of course, with hammer, you wanted more, but still they got points on the board, or a point on the board. Men's final on sheet B, Best versus Carlson. It is Team Carlson with 2. That was cut down by Ryan Best. The end of end number 1. Carlson tap out their own, but leave theirs right on the button.
Not quite the result they were looking for.
Very similar situations on both our final sheets, C and B. Both sides just much open house, not a lot guarding inside, and they're just trading shots back and forth. Pekowitz calling for a heavy draw.
She really doesn't want her team stone to get to leave the house. The goal is to keep things in play, try to build up multiple points here. can see there are a few guards over on the right side of that sheet, so if they can get a hit and roll, they would finally have a protected stone.
You want to just try and nose this now, honestly? Yep. All right.
Kaylee Price delivering.
Finally starting to curl in, but rolling to the outside again.
7, 7, 7, 7. 5, go 3, 7.
Neal, excuse me, on her first of 2 skip stones. And the house just about empty over on sheet B as Team Best were able to clear quite a few with a shot earlier. So Henrik Carlson, Weiss on Team Best, going up against Team Carlson.
They're just trying to settle in the house, but we're continuously seeing some overthrows across all sheets.
And now almost every team that's represented here today this is not their home club, so this is a new experience. Now they've had the last couple of days to get some practice and to get some playing time, but as you know, every time you play on a sheet of ice, it's unique, and so they're learning just what it is to play on this ice as opposed to where they're at home. Some representing the state of Maryland. We have some representatives of Massachusetts, Duluth. So, I mean, really a huge conglomeration of teams from all across east of the Mississippi, basically, here on display today. Neal throwing her final stone. For Team Neal, Red up by 5 after the first end. Julia Pekowitz in the house, holding off the sweepers. Hits on the outside and might just be a binder. Looks like it is.
It is just holding on. That's excellent.
You can't quite see it in our middle angle if you're on our alternate stream, but you can see it on the left-hand side of your screen, just barely biting. It doesn't matter how much it's in, just that it is.
So if on the off chance that Tamboli doesn't end up in the house here, that would be a point for Team Neal, but there's quite a lot of space for Tamboli to draw in and take their one.
No need to hit the red. They can just draw in, grab themselves one. Could also always take out the red for a blank. Don't think that's what they're going for.
All right, up to the sweepers now, just to judge that weight and get that stone into the house.
Sweeping hard to get it there. Looks like it's just going to get in, and it will.
Well done, well swept.
So that's a point for Team Tamboli. That'll take it down to a 4-point lead for Team Neal as we shift our focus over as Ryan Best delivers his first of 2 for red. Side is down by 2.
A wide open house here. The best way they can protect their stone is to freeze it against one of the yellows. Sweepers are really trying to get that as far as they can. It is going to get into the house, but it's not going to go very deep.
Now it is out sitting the yellow on the outside, so it is next to shot rock if they can remove that yellow. So now we'll see what Evan Carlson can come up with here, consulting with his vice, Ben Peters.
It looks like he doesn't like that red stone one bit. They might just try to peel this out of the way. Now the thing for them, they want to make sure not to ricochet any stones into their back yellows. So we might see quite a bit of weight on this stone so that it hits off center and both of those stones peel to either side out of the way with no impact to the existing yellows.
Final delivery of end number 2 in our men's final goes to Evan Carlson. up by 2. He'll throw his side's last stone before Best can respond.
All right, quite a bit of weight here. Needs some contact on the red. But it is curling early and is going to slide on by and all the way out of the house.
So now an opportunity for Ryan Best. If they can just nick that yellow, they can sit to tie this game up. Position themselves nicely heading into in 3.
Yep, they just want to draw in and tap on that back yellow. It's going to push it out and give them 2. But they really want their shot stone to stick. They don't want it to roll too far to either side. Otherwise, they're only going to get 1. This is their opportunity to tie the game, and they don't want to. They don't want to miss it.
Ryan Best. Last stone of in number 2 with an opportunity to tie it up.
They got to get around this guard. Ooh, tap off their own red and end up splitting the house. Both stones rolling out, leaving 2 yellow. And that means a steal for Team Carlson of 2 points, putting them up 4-0.
Be a brutal sport sometimes, curling. The finest of margins can mean a huge difference. Difference between 2-2 and 4-0. Our outside sheets are almost done with end number 2. We're just about onto the final skips rocks on those. Few into in 3 on sheet C.
Very nice hit and roll on sheet C for Team Tamboli, taking out a red and then rolling their yellow into the house.
Yeah, thanks, Levar. I like it.
Kaylee Price for Neal. Aiming for that back yellow. Does get the contact, and they'll both be removed. Chapman sweeping hard for Team Tamboli.
Trying to hold that line. Does get contact, but both stones rolling out.
I can double that, so yeah. So do you want to do it here, or do you want to just come down on top of that? Let's go down and down. Okay. All right, now for the guard.
Empty house on sheet C. You can start to feel these teams getting in a little bit of a rhythm now. Once the house starts to offer you something that's a little bit more familiar, no stones in, curl behind the guard. Take out that stone, curl behind the guard. You know, you can kind of get into that. It seems that after that first opening end where we saw a little bit of craziness figuring out the ice, seems both sides have settled in now on all 4 of our sheets, really.
I agree. We're seeing the accuracy of the shots increase across all of our curlers, which really gives the skips a chance to play to their strategies, set up the stones the way they want them to be, you know, to get the takeouts that they want, to get the draws that they want.
So at the end of end number 2 on sheet A, it's 1-0 in favor of Team Merrill, as Summer Merrill will deliver one of her final 2. It's almost like a mirror back there at the back of the house at sheet A. Yellow sitting 4, and that would be a very nice pickup. Let's see what she can do to mitigate it.
There is plenty of space for this red stone to outcount all of those yellows, but they have to settle right there in the house. Got to be full 8 foot at least.
Just manages to miss there. So note cards distance apart.
A little bit of contact would have helped slow that stone down, but just sailed on through.
Also relatively empty house on B. Ryan Best holding the broom.
Both teams trying to just tuck in behind the guards and take a commanding position of this house.
Eric Tudor's delivery.
Starting to slow down, but will it hold on? No. Oh, we're still seeing some overthrown stones.
Watch that pass on here. Okay. If you're going now, it's okay. If you're late, it's fine. If you're one, maybe it's going to be the other.
Her just go from the hit from sheet C. High fives exchanged between Julia Pekowitz and Alexa Pekowitz. Is the vice for Team Neal. Try and take out the yellow. Shot rock at the back of the house on sheet C.
Sometimes it can be tricky, these takeouts towards the back of the house. You get so used to takeout shots against stones that are in front of the tee line. So sometimes that extra distance is a little bit of a difficulty for curlers because you have to adjust your weight a little bit more. As we can see here, tapping off their own red and not having much of an impact on the state of the house.
And honestly, once again, no harm done. Basically just replace one red with the other. So no worse off than they were before the throw. It is Team Red, Team Neal leading 5-1 on sheet C. So Team Tamboli, led by Anna Tamboli, who is the defending juniors national champion, trying to claw their way back in.
And for Team Neal, with such a commanding lead, they might want to just play the takeout game for the rest of this whole, for every single end going on. If they can reduce each end to a single point here and there, they can just maintain that lead throughout the entire 8 ends. But with that miss just now, this gives Tamboli a chance to set up multiple stones in the house to start cutting down that lead.
It's 11. It's 11-60. Don't worry about it.
Of course, they scored just one without the hammer, so now they're not going to get that opportunity, but still, I can build on something here. Might just curl around that red guard and settle nicely.
Very nice shot.
So now it'll be Addison Neal. Skip to deliver, and there's a little bit more that she can see on this yellow. On the last delivery, that yellow was mostly well guarded. This yellow here, shot rock sticking out a little bit more.
They're not going to be able to hit it dead on, but if they can just clip even the edge of it with enough weight to push it out. Just need to get around the red, and they do, and get their hit. End up taking out the back yellow off for ricochet, but it does move that other yellow towards center, exposing it away from the guards. And they set up themselves as being shot rock. A very, very nice result.
Great work by Addison Neal. We'll see what Anna Tamboli can craft up here. She leaves Ava Chapman to hold the broom. She's got it just about centered with that yellow shot, that yellow rock at the back of the house.
Sullivan. Yeah, all right.
So they want to do something similar. They want to curl in and really hit that shot red while also sticking around.
Three members of Team Tamboli representing the state of Minnesota and Duluth Curling Club. Heidi Holt, the lead from Bismarck, North Dakota. Here it is from Tamboli.
They're calling on those sweeps, but looks like that is on the guard. Trying to inch that stone as far as they can. Does get into the house, but the red is still shot.
Opens up a little bit on the red. Neal will deliver her final of end number 3. Conversation going on here. Do you prefer the draw?
Good to see that communication between team members. They have the option to try and remove some yellow stones, but again, if you're feeling in that moment, if you're feeling more comfortable with a draw versus a takeout, that's worth having that discussion. That's worth getting a more effective stone on the ice than potentially a miss, which doesn't get you anything.
Team Neal representing the Bay State, Massachusetts and Broomstones Curling Club. Addison Neal. Perhaps looking at the draw here. They've got a lead of 4. So in the end, they are able to keep both of them in play. There was a worry there when it tipped off of it might just go out, but they do get 2 with the hammer, extend the lead even more. They now have 7-1 lead over Team Tamboli.
Very nice result for them. Last couple of stones over on sheet B. And end number 3. They're just trying to get rid of this shot yellow.
Similarly to sheet C, a very empty house. Best calling them off.
Nice square hit. Leaves 2 stones in the 12-foot for red. Nothing for yellow. It's a nice, comfortable position to be in. You have a split house, so it's very difficult for yellow to potentially get a double. So they can either try to draw into the house to try and build up some points that are close to the center, or they can clear out some of these reds and hopefully stick around. Because a nice hit on the nose on this left red will put them in a shot rock position while removing the red from play.
Evan Carlson, his team from great state of Maryland, presenting Potomac Curling Club. Side leads by 4.
For a nose hit, which they get. And there you go, shot rock, 1 less red.
So now Best. Not the worst situation to be in. Can just take out the yellow and cut the lead in half.
Yep, they want to do something similar. They can just get a nose hit and they'll still be in the house. And that'll give them 2.
Ryan Best was so close to tying this game up in the last end. What can he do here? You can see him jumping right over by the hog line. Gets the contact he was looking for. It's out of the house. And that will be 2. Ryan Best gets it done this time. Cuts the lead in half. 4-2 lead for Team Carlson.
And a very nice way to end that end for Carlson.
So it is 4-1 on sheet A, 4-2 on sheet B, 7-1 on sheet C, and a blank makes it 2-0 on sheet D. Team Betteridge ahead on sheet A, Team Carlson on sheet B, Team Neal on sheet C. Just to give you an idea of where we sit currently, and it is Team Taylor ahead on sheet D. Of course, there is a lot of eyes on sheet B, being it is our men's final, but also especially so because this is the hometown heroes. Ryan Best, his team representing Triangle Curling Club, where we are located today, and North Carolina. Henrik Carlson from Potomac Curling Club in Maryland. The 3 members of that Best team representing this club. And a reminder of what's at stake in our finals sheets. The winner will get the qualifier into the national championship. It'll be an 8-team field, 6 of which are made up from the 6 host locations. Final 2 coming from the world rankings. The 2 best remaining teams, 2 best remaining eligible teams. So whoever the winners are here will have to face off that field of 8 for juniors glory and a spot at the Worlds.
Juniors Nationals coming up in April, I believe.
It's Team Tamboli with the broom in sheet C. Anna Tamboli trying to go back-to-back. She's got herself a 7-1 hole right now to dig herself out of.
Hoping to clear out some red stones, but not quite enough weight to push them out the back of the house.
I don't like leaving that. You hit it like here, it's fine. Yeah. I think let's get rid of it. Yeah, let's heal that. If we get 1 under, okay, let's heal.
Bit of deliberation over on sheet B. I think they're trying to determine whether or not that front red is a biter or not. It can be difficult to see from these camera angles, so they were looking at it from top down to try to make a judgment call on whether or not they need to be concerned about that placement.
Very nice. Stone thrown by Claire Chapman. Removes the yellow, does remove one of their own, but they're still sitting 3 red.
Trying to split the house and take control of the other side. Again, another overthrown stone. They wanted to establish a position on the left side of the house and start to build up some points. But now this gives Team Neal an opportunity to clear the guard and keep the house wide open.
Julia Pekowitz. She's been holding the broom, but she throws vice stones.
Let's see if they can just peel away this guard. Sweeper's trying to hold the line. Ooh, slips by. So a miss for a miss over on sheet C.
So now Ava Chapman fights for Team Tamboli.
Gets another chance at this draw behind their yellow guard. Stone completely untouched by the sweepers. And it is going to come to a rest, but a slightly bit behind the shot red. It does put them at shot stone number 2. So it could be a useful stone later, but not exactly what they were looking for.
Sheet B.
Team Best is trying to draw in and be the shot stone. They will be successful.
It's very close for who is the second shot rock there, the second rock behind one red inside the 4-foot.
It is tough to tell from my perspective. I would say yellow is shot, or shot number 2. Either way, their concern is that red in the 4-foot.
Mountfield just
Gets a little bit of contact. It is enough to drive that red out of the house. When you throw with enough weight, you only need a little bit of contact to get the momentum transfer to another stone.
So Ryan Best does not care whether or not yellow is by a matter of millimeters closer than that red. They're going to go for that yellow. Try and roll inside.
quite a long roll if they want to get in cover, but just getting the yellow out of the house is a good result.
So it's Henrik Carlson who will have the delivery. He's in discussion with Ryan Best now about where they want to roll to. Here it comes from Carlson. The outside and wide.
To the outside.
Addison Neal just executed a double takeout of a yellow stones. That leaves Tamboli staring down a red at the middle of the 8-foot. This is the first of her final 2 stones. Her side down 7-1 here, as we are just about at the halfway point. Ava Schaffman at the back of the house, spotting this one. Call on clear, Schaffman for the sweep. Taps it back, great shot. So now it's a, well, you would assume, a simple job for Addison Neal. Remove the yellow, and then you reduce the opportunity for scoring 2. Of course, it's never that easy in curling, is it?
Shots are always a little bit more difficult than they appear.
Very fine margins as well, because they have 2 stones inside. If they can remove this yellow, they'll be sitting 3.
They want to hit and stick around. Another nose hit. It does leave their stone exposed, but they did get rid of the yellow.
So now there really is no room for error, because Anna Tamboli's got to take out the red. If she misses this shot, then it's 3 more to the tally of Team Neal. Very fine margins here in Durham.
Yeah, their best shot right here is just to hit on the nose, stick, and take their 1. But it's a difference of 4 points right on this 1 stone.
Stone for a massive swing here. Tamboli.
Stone's starting to curl a bit early. You're going to get a hit off the front red and roll out.
So not 1 for yellow, not 3 for red. It's 2 for red, as Team Neal extended out 9-1 now. So back over to Ryan Best, battling it out, Evan Carlson. This is his final, or second to last delivery, excuse me, on sheet B. His side down by just 2. Put up a steal of 2 in the second end. Now trying to steal 2 themselves. House not necessarily conducive to it, but we'll see what they can pull off.
Looks like their strategy is to ignore the 2-shot yellows and take over the center of the house by curling behind that center yellow guard. They're able to get around the guards, who are just trying to tuck it in as much as they can. They do get the weight that they want, but it didn't curl all the way across the center line. Team Carlson is going to be able to see that stone if they want to take a shot at it.
So for those of you watching our main stream, sheet C is empty for the moment because they've reached the halfway point, so they'll take a bit of a break. They are at the half on sheet C. Will very soon be on the half on sheet B as well. Carlson confers with his vice, Ben Peters.
It looks like the takeout is the call. And they can see almost that entire stone, so they should be able to get this hit. But we'll see where they rolled, and based on where this stone ends up, it'll make the next shot for Team Best easier or difficult.
Carlson, his penultimate stone of the fourth end.
Sullivan, Sullivan. William.
It's calling on William Mountfield.
Hold this line. They are going to get contact and roll over and freeze on his own yellow. So this does leave the house wide open for another draw.
Once again, the danger here for Team Best is that if they have their red removed, that's a big end for Team Carlson. So they not only are thinking about here getting a point of steal, but also at the minimum just tampering down what could be a very big scoring end for Team Carlson.
That's true. So an option for them to cut down the number of yellow counting stones would be to attempt to freeze on the shot yellow, making their stone difficult to remove and also out counting the two, at least the two outer yellows. Oh, looks like they are calling for a timeout so they can have this discussion over on sheet B.
So sheet A, Summer Merrill. They are loaded up on yellows.
There are a lot of yellows in the house, but that red is out counting the vast majority of them.
It's a little bit hidden right now under Freya still. Can see it a little bit better now.
Able to cause a little bit of movement, but unfortunately moving a yellow stone, another one out counting their red.
And I believe that was the last of end number 3. So now what they're looking at is whether or not the yellow is second, which it looks like it is from our angle. So they're going to have to measure it.
They are calling for a measurement. So at least one yellow.
Right now they're up 4-1. It's 2-1 over on sheet D after a blank in the second end. This is a 3-man team Taylor going up against the combined team of Triangle Curling Club and Peachtree down in Georgia.
Unfortunately, that last stone we just saw them walking off the ice, that was a hogged stone. So if a stone does not cross that hog line a few feet out in front of the house, it is not considered to be in play and has to be removed.
Sheet B, we have the final delivery from Ryan Best. They just tapped that yellow guard that was outside the house, knock it in, and so now they're sitting 4 yellow. Remember, the yellow does have a hammer here, so they can possibly make it 5. Extend this lead out to 9-2. Should just about be near
Another
score.
5-point end.
Yeah.
Today, or potential for a 5-point end today.
Already seen one on sheet C. So now Ben Peters again gets the direction from his skip, Evan Carlson. You would imagine the worst case scenario for Team Yellow is 4. So they're sitting pretty either way. Looking at minimum to double their score.
Gotta go. Really gotta go. Really move that rock over. Gotta go. Really gotta go. Really gotta go. Keep going. Keep going.
Now this looks like they're just trying to draw into the house using their own yellows as backing. And just going to curl towards those 2 yellows side by side. That way if he's a little bit heavy, his own stones will catch him.
Last delivery before the break. Here finishing up end number 4, looking to make it a big one for Team Carlson.
They're just going to let that one be, let it come in and settle right up against its friends. And there you go. 5 points for Carlson going into the half.
Great way to end the first 4 ends of curling for Team Carlson. They'll take a 9-2 lead into the break. So they got the measurement done on sheet A. They've moved the stone, so we'll see where the point goes up to exactly. Yellow already had one they knew was theirs. They were looking to whether or not the next yellow was going to be theirs as well, and the measurement is in, and it will be. So that is now 6-1 in favor of Team Betteridge on sheet A. So they're heading into the 4th end on sheet A. They're done with the break on sheet C. 9-1 in favor of Team Neal. Kaylee Price throwing her stone. Second for Team Neal.
Oh, really, really, really wide. Yeah. Push, please. We need to push for a piece. Come on. Okay.
Just trying to keep the house nice and clear, and they succeed.
Okay.
They do not want to give Team Tamboli a chance to build up stones in the house.
Mine's really tight. Where are we? Gotta go though, Clyde.
Looking for the curl behind that guard. Very good shot. Chapman with the throw. Nestles that one nicely.
Yep, Team Neal's not really able to get to that shot stone effectively, so they're just going to start peeling away at the guards. Try and clear it out on a later stone.
It's Julia Pekowitz now. Hucks this one down the ice.
Sweeping to hold the line, but gets that hit. And the peel.
Ava Chapman will respond. Going to look to go to the other side of the house. Going to build something up here with the hammer. spectacular.
Very nicely done. Forces Team Neal to make a decision. They can either they can only take out one, or they can try to build up something of their own. But without guards, a split house is a nice way to protect some of your stones.
Pekowicz now has got her eyes on the right-hand side of the house from her perspective. So chunking another one down to the other end. Neal holding out the sweepers. Pekowicz goes to work.
And they are going to get a piece of it. A nose hit, so they do stick around. Not much deliberation needed here. They immediately want to get that red out of there and reset their yellow stone. It's very important that the shot from Taboli does not roll out. They need every stone possible in the house to make up this deficit.
Heidi Holt on the sweep. Does manage to remove the red. Takes their yellow with it. Addison Neal with the first of her two stones in end number 5.
Again, just trying to remove all yellow traces from play. They are going to get that hit. And now there's only one stone left in the house.
Good work by Neal, who was looking at 2 yellows split in the house and now sitting with one of their own. Seen some very efficient play from Team Neal throughout these opening 5 ends. Now it's back over to Anna Tamboli.
Yeah, if you can keep the field clear, if you can keep the number of guards to a minimum, that keeps the house open, so you can really adjust how many stones are in there. It keeps things open.
Which is exactly what they want to do with the 8-point lead. The more open it is, the lower scoring opportunities. And you're at the point now that you're beyond, when you were speaking earlier, if you can just keep getting one at a time, we're beyond that now. You need to start getting some bigger in. So as long as they keep the house relatively open, that's going to be very difficult for Team Tamboli to achieve. First of 2 from Tamboli.
This is looking a little bit light. Oh, they got to get it in play. Bit of a discussion. Looks like they are left with the guard.
So Neal, her final delivery of end number 5.
Is going to give them a chance to put another stone in the house. Potentially increase their lead even further.
Alright, just don't touch. It's gonna curl over. Just be ready. Top 8, top 12. Bring it in.
Just looking to draw behind the guard. Sweeper's giving it a little bit to finish.
Very good shot.
Very nicely drawn, right on the center line.
Didn't make it easy for Anna Tamboli. It's going to have to basically repeat the same thing, outdraw the red. Once again, fine margins. Got to get this shot right, otherwise you're going to see two more go the way of red.
Yep, a hit on the red doesn't do them any good. They have to draw around it and get entirely tucked into the forefoot to outcount both reds and get them another point.
You like taking this a bit? No, not that. You want to take it though. Like you're saying this here.
Yes, mine needs it.
Okay. Let's draw inside.
Away go the sweepers.
No.
Heidi Holt and Claire Chapman. So it's going to come down on the red.
Make sure you're in.
Yep, it's curling in a bit early. It was a little bit too light.
Stop over the lace. If you're heavy, it's fine.
And that is going to leave another two for Team Neal.
Take it up to 11-1. Double figure lead for Team Neal.
Don't worry about it.
Best and Carlson duking it out. It was that big 5-point end to finish out the first half. The men's final. It's got a little bit of daylight between the two.
This shot right here, though, is just going to replace their own yellow. Not having much of an impact on the state of the field.
Now Eric Tudor, the second for the home team, if you will. Host site. Representing Triangle Curling here in Durham, North Carolina. Zach Burley and Zakai Siegel helping guide you through this juniors qualifier.
So the takeout is called. They want to hit this yellow square on the nose. They don't want to roll center and potentially provide cover over that Carlson stone. So let's see if they can get rid of this hit, which they get. And potential ricochet for an interesting double. Unfortunately, the yellow sticks around, and the red did roll just outside the house. So yellow is still shot.
What side do you want? Normal? Yeah.
William Mountfield.
Sullivan. No, Ben. Good side.
Removed one of the red guards. Doesn't change much for Tudor and Team Best. So now they're going to go for the top of the 12. Get over around that red rock they've got sitting there.
Yeah, with how exposed that yellow is, even though it's shot, they're not worried about it right now. They want to get themselves set up because they have a long road if they're going to make a comeback here. So they want to build up stones in the house, and they'll worry about taking over shot position later.
Sweeping hard, that'll leave it just outside the house.
If you roll fine, same as us are fine. I don't care.
Does not protect the red in the house. And Carlson's going to take advantage of that and try to get rid of it.
Ben Peters.
Well done, yours.
Mountfield goes to work.
Sweeping hard. With the hit right on the nose. Let's yellow the sitting 2.
Best calling for the takeout. That yellow just inside the 4-foot. Henrik Carlson. Calls Tudor onto it to sweep.
And they're going to get the hit. It's going to hit on the outside and roll out. So rather than rolling in and being potentially behind some of the existing stones, it hits just to the right. And both of them are going to roll out. Still removing 1 yellow, but they're not able to build up their own presence in the house.
Hit this here.
I like heel.
Got their eyes on that other red guard.
Heel is called, thrown with a lot of weight. They just want both stones removed from the board. And they are successful.
Good shot, Ben.
Thumbs up of gratitude from his skip, Evan Carlson.
It's okay.
And the takeouts continue. And now let's see if we can clear the house entirely. There it is. Empty house on sheet B.
So now, of course, they're down by a few, so they wanted to make this a big in themselves. Down 9-2, team best. Options a little more limited. But you got to start somewhere. You just want to get points on the board.
And but we're down to our skip stones, and you have nothing to work with. So it's possible to get more than 2 when you only have 2 stones left to deliver. And no matter where you put this stone right now, it will be open to get hit by the opposing team.
Even if it's this one, that's fine. That's okay.
Some cheering inside the warm room here. So it was a very good shot over on sheet A. Carlson delivering his.
Yep. Okay. Just at least touching the house.
We'll draw it right down onto the button. Gonna go just behind, but of course it is still shot rock.
It's the only rock.
Exactly. Now Best delivering his first of 2. Just the wanting the house to aim for. Riding the center line. Strikes it true. It'll sit for 1.
At this point, team best only chance to get a second point would be for a miss on this final stone from Team Carlson.
Something Evan Carlson has not done much of today.
Very true.
This in not totally in Evan Carlson's hands. Even if he makes the shot as he should here, they can still end up giving up a point, but that would be not too much loss given their 9-2 lead. Evan Carlson.
Sweepers coming in to help. They're going to get the hit, but also the roll. Completely out, opening up the house. A very nice result. So now, Best can either draw into the open house for one, or take the blank if they want to maintain hammer into the next end.
So now Best just got to draw it in. It'll give them one. We'll see if that's what they're going to go for. There's a lot on it. Looks like they're probably just going to go for the blank.
They're taking the blank. Want to hold on to that hammer. 1 point, not enough for them. This way they have the hammer advantage in the next end where they can hopefully pick up more.
So now Tamboli with Ava Chapman. 9-1 the score in favor of Team Neal. Very close between Shot Rock, that red and yellow. Both biting the forefoot. Claire Chapman sweeping away.
Potentially going to get a bit of a raise on their own yellow, which will make them shot.
Right onto the button. Great work from Ava Chapman. Her final delivery of in number 5. So now Neal stares down the brew of Pekowitz. Positioned very closely to the yellow. Middle of the 8-foot. Away the sweepers go. Takes out one, takes out two. Clears out the yellow from the house.
Very nice result.
Again, we talked about efficiency from Carlson on sheet B. The same so for Team Neal on sheet C. Just getting what they need to get done. Done. So now Tamboli.
Now looking to rebuild some board position in the house. They want to curl right up to this red. The sweepers have their work cut out for them.
The battle between wanting it to curl onto the red and needing some distance on it. In the end, distance wins out. It'll settle just outside the house. Pekowitz asks Neal, draw or peel? They're going to try and draw in behind. Could hear the chatter, same exact shot as last time.
Situation here for Team Neal where they can use their opposing stones to their advantage if they can get this draw.
That will certainly be in.
You know, able to get good weight, but it did not curl. It is completely on the left side of the center line, which means that'll be fully exposed when you're looking at it from the hack on the other side of the sheet. and because it is sitting behind the tee line, Team Tamboli can potentially use that, the red that was just thrown, as backing as they get themselves in control of the house.
Give it here. Stop. Kill it. Guard, no, put the guard.
And Tamboli side down by 8. Final delivery of end number 5. Once again, sweeping on it for the distance. Looks like it might settle exactly where the last one did. It did, almost an identical shot, and that'll leave 2 for Neal. Take them up to 11. And they will shake on it. So a commanding victory for Team Neal as they take it over Tamboli in our women's final. That will put Neal into the Juniors National Championship, earning the automatic qualifier from this Triangle Curling Juniors qualifier. Great work on Sheet C.
Congratulations to all participants. A great match, but Team Neal was able to bring it home.
Big congratulations, Addison Neal, Julia Pekowitz, Kaylee Price, and Alexa Pekowitz.
On this side. Yeah. Make sure you're online.
Representing Broomstone's Curling Club in Massachusetts. They'll find their way on to the national championships.
Big round of applause here in the warm room.
That shot from William Mountfield just missing the red guard. Remember, it was a blank in end number 5 for Team Best as they retain the hammer and try and build up a big end, which is what they're going to need as they find themselves down 9-2. Very similar situation that we saw in Sheet C, where the margins of error are very small, because even if you let up a steal of 1, that's a massive loss, considering that you had the hammer. So got to be very careful in a precarious situation.
It looks like they just want to draw behind their guard. Again, leave that. They're not worried about that yellow, that shot right now. They'll get back to him later. If you want multiple points, you got to build up an established position in the house. If you just go shot for shot with playing the takeout game, you're never going to get more than 1. This way you can get established with protected stones, then try and retake shot rock at the end of the end.
Tudor's throw will nestle inside the 12-foot.
Not tucked in behind the guard. They're looking to take it out.
Yeah, Carlson's been throwing and will continue to throw a lot of takeouts this afternoon. As is the nature of things with the sort of lead that they have acquired. Ben Peters. It's going to miss the red, hit the yellow, take out their own. That's a big break for Team Best.
Very good result for Team Best. And this is where just the consistency of your throws comes into play. You know, when your skip calls takeout after takeout after takeout, you know, it is up to you to deliver that consistent delivery, that consistent type of throw each time. And that can be very draining for these young curlers.
Now Henrik Carlson.
Gets a very nice split on their shot red.
Nice shot.
Gives them control of both sides of the house.
Team Best needed that. A good shot by Carlson. So now Ben Peters, redemptions of sort. We haven't seen very many mistakes from Team Carlson. We'll try and make amends here. Sylvan Addlestone, big sweep on it, taking it all the way down onto the red. He clears one away.
A little bit of help from your sweepers, always a nice thing.
Going to basically replace that red. Now they're debating whether or not to split the house or to curl in behind the guard. They're going to go in behind the guard.
They just need this stone to settle. It is behind the tee, getting swept out by Team Carlson. As a reminder, once your stone crosses the tee line, one member of the opposing team is allowed to start sweeping that stone.
So you're watching the men's final on sheet B. Team Best and Team Carlson. Carlson with a 9-2 lead. Carlson got a 2-0 lead in the first end. There was an opportunity to tie it up for Best. Ended up giving a steal of 2 over to Carlson, making it 4-2. Narrowed things down to 4-2. And then there was a big end in the fourth end to make it 9-2. So after a blank of the fifth, this leaves Best trying to make up some points.
But because they didn't establish a second stone in the house, this gives Team Carlson a chance to do what they do best, another takeout.
And the roll from Carlson as well,
Ooh.
Smooth as you like. Exactly where they wanted to put it, not perfectly buried, but just about. It's got a little bit of a area there for Best to try and hit. But
Still,
all things considered, just about as much as you can ask for.
a fantastic result right there. No more opposing stones in the house, and you have protection behind the guard. There is plenty of gap between the guard and the shot rock for Team Best to curl in. We'll see if they can make it happen.
Best releases. Stone dancing along the edge of the center line.
Sweeper's got to carry it all the way into the house, though. It's curling early and is going to be on the guard. Just comes to a rest right in front of it.
I'm not worried about it. Like, do this one here if it turns out, leave it out.
Carlson talking about coming up against the front of that guard.
Could potentially peel them both because they are close enough to each other. Looks like they're more concerned with the guards than putting another stone in the house, but they're going to go ahead and call their timeout.
Yeah, there was a signal from inside the warm room very aggressively, just like, hey, take a timeout. They finally got Evan Carlson's attention, and he calls for the timeout, currently sitting 1 yellow inside. So it is a 3-2 lead for Team Taylor on sheet D, and a 7-1 lead for Team Betteridge yellow on sheet A. So our outside sheets. Last delivery for Evan Carlson.
All that discussion, and they decide they don't even need the stone. They're just going to let it sail through. They're satisfied with being shot rocked.
It's a difficult stone to hit, this yellow, because it's pretty well buried. It's not impossible, still very much a hittable stone, but even if they do hit it, they're only sending one. But blanking this in is a lot more difficult than the last time, because they're going to have to hit it and roll them both out. And they're also running out of ends to blank, which is the other problem.
I was just about to say the same thing. They don't have a lot of time left to make up this point deficit. They got to take what they can get. And right now, it's either take one and give up hammer, or potentially a steal. So that was why Team Carlson wanted to make sure that that shot yellow stayed there to put Best in a difficult situation.
So here we are in end number 6. Best down 9-2. A difficult shot here. Both sweepers on.
They want to carry this all the way to the button.
Now all joining in there. Will it have just enough? Looks like it will.
Very nice team effort by Team Best to get that point.
That will yield them one, makes it 9-3, but they will shake on it. A valiant effort from Best, who makes a great shot to finish things off in end number 6. A final score of 9-3. And that means it will be Team Carlson who advance on to the Nationals Juniors Championship. Great work from everyone on that team. Team Carlson comprised their skip Evan Carlson, Ben Peters, the vice, William Mountfield, their second, Sylvan Adelstone, their lead. Evan Dauerheim, their fifth. Their coach, Mark Carlson, they're representing Potomac Curling Club out of Maryland. Well played, efficiency throughout, very little mistakes at all, if any, throughout the entirety of the game. Deservingly so, moving on. And also a big applause to Team Best, who represent the home club, Triangle Curling Club. This is exactly what they're building here in Durham, trying to get a youth pipeline to get some teams forward so they can have representation at the national level.
Absolutely, and a big round of applause as these teams come off the ice into the warm room. It's wonderful to see a big crowd here at the Triangle Curling Club, rooting for all these young curlers.
So that does it for our two finals. Men's final, Team Carlson advances. In the women's final, it's Team Neal who advances. Both of them by just about identical score lines. Big ends at different ends of the games yield victories for those two teams. So we look now at our sheets on the edges, A and D. We have a very close battle on sheet D. The three-man team of Team Taylor facing off against a combined team representing Team Triangle Curling Club and Peachtree. So it looks like they may have actually come down to a result there on D, throwing some stones. That was the rec team that was representing Triangle Curling combined with Peachtree. Oh, Freya Stilp. Vice for Team Merrill. They're down 7-1.
Trying to get another stone in the house, but coming up a bit short. They're still sitting 2. But a few points down, getting another stone in the house would have been a nice result.
That would narrow the score down nicely. They're only in the 5th end here. So that would leave them with 3 ends to go and just a 4-point deficit to overcome. So Emma Betteridge first of her 2 final stones in number 5. Amelia Gould holds the broom.
Now, if they want this shot to outcount the red, they can only see about half that stone. So they have to hit the gap between the guards and then curl in right at the end to make contact. Not an easy shot. Calling the sweepers off, hoping for a bit more curl on the stone. Sweeping
Very
at the
good
end
shot.
as the stone starts to move, getting contact, but not with enough momentum.
Yeah, the line was perfect, right where they wanted it to go, but then just not enough oomph to knock out that red stone.
That is a situation that curlers end up in. If you sweep a stone early, you could potentially maintain its momentum longer, but you're going to cut down on the curl. And if they had overswept that stone, it may have passed right by it and not made any contact at all. They decided to wait, get that curl, make sure they got the hit, but it didn't have enough left in the tank to move it out of shot position.
So now Summer Merrill. They're looking at the opposite side of the house, left side from the Hacks perspective.
And I like the draw over on this side because they can either draw through all the guards and get themselves into position, or if they end up on their own red, they could go for a raise. And so that's multiple chances for them to get a second stone into scoring position.
So now they're going to get some deliberation from their coaches. This is a big inflection point here because that 2-stone situation they were looking at for red's been cut down to just a single. 2 really gets them back into this one, Merrill. Not that 1 doesn't, but 2 is ideal. Betteridge also having a conversation down the opposite hog line.
Another option for Team Betteridge, if they can remove the yellow stone that was just thrown, both of their red stones will be counting. So maybe that's the discussion they're having. They could potentially be sitting 3 if they can remove that stone and stick.
And if you hit it on the nose, you can do so without too much risk of hitting your own. That's obviously, if you just hit the nose. That's a very difficult thing to do, but you can see now that's the switch. They were looking at going the other side on the draw, and now they're going to go in for that yellow, just as you said, Zakai. So that was what the deliberation was probably about.
If they can get it just to the left of center, they could even roll in and be behind that big pile of guards. And if you can roll behind those guards, that stone's not going anywhere for the rest of the end.
So a big-time shot here. They are currently down by 6, Team Merrill. If they can get this shot away, they'd be sitting 3. Even a pickup of 2 would be massive as they head into the 6th end. This is the penultimate rock for Merrill. So it's not do or die on this one. You know, it's going to curl in, going to strike their own red guard.
Not quite enough weight to carry it all the way down to the house. So it started to curl a lot earlier and ended up tapping on the reds.
It doesn't entirely plug that gap, but it goes pretty well towards plugging that gap on the right-hand side as well, which limits that option, which honestly probably suits Betteridge just fine. Which is what they may be talking about now, is putting a plug on the other side as well and just saying, we will take a loss of 1 on this end. As are the side effects sometimes of a very congested front of the house.
Yes, if you're Team Merrill right here, you're not really concerned with scoring big points. You've already done that. You just want to cut down Team Betteridge to as few as possible. So giving up one gives Merrill hammer in the next end. They are looking to maintain the status of the house here.
Betteridge's penultimate stone, her final stone, excuse me. She's trying to plug a hole here on the left-hand side of the house. Glides down nicely. Pretty much where they drew it up.
That'll do it. That eliminates the option that Betteridge was thinking about for their last stone before the timeout, coming down that side. It is possible to curl wider and get around everything, but now it's just a more difficult shot. They don't have the raise option anymore. There is a gap between the guards to get to that yellow stone that is sitting number 2. It's a very narrow gap, but that might be their best bet. Again, to remove that yellow, roll in and sit 3.
Now, one's better than nothing, but you always run the risk there. If you run up against that yellow, possibly promote it in. I mean, it's unlikely, but as we well know, anything could happen when rocks are moving inside the house.
Yes, it is a high-risk play, but when you're down, when you're down by 6, you got to take those big risks. 1 point alone will not do it for them.
So now it looks like they might be trying to aim for that gap. Big time shot here for Merrill. A lifeline back in perhaps, or it might be the finishing blow.
This stone needs a good amount of weight because it has to hold straight all the way down the sheet.
Freya still holding the broom. Summer Merrill delivering the rock. Maria Allen and Jillian Laramie gonna guide the rock down the ice. Merrill, last stone of end number 5. There is a light at the end of this tunnel, but it passes through that gap outside the house. Can they find it?
Looks a tad wide.
Just ticks off their own red.
Yep, that was the red that they put up the shot before. And that means Team Betteridge is only going to walk away with 1 point in end number 5.
So that'll make it 7-2 with just 2 ends remaining. I can show you just how cruel sometimes the sport of curling can be. Those big point swings from 3 one way to 1 another. Ended up just getting 1 when they were looking at 2 possibly earlier.
And Team Merrill going to have hammer going into end number 6. Potentially giving them the chance to widen the gap, or at least get 1 more back in response to the 1 point that Betteridge just got here. Merrill is going to need a big steal followed by a big end of their own. But if they steal in end number 6, they're going to have to steal again in end number 7. So it is an uphill battle, to be sure. Having a bit of a discussion.
Brady, what's the discussion? It's the thing that 18-year-olds do. It's under 18. Have a conversation between each end. About the weather.
It is a very lengthy discussion. As of right now, it's a 7-2 lead for Team Betteridge. Here representing a collection of clubs. Betteridge out of Peachtree Curling Club down in Georgia. Also got some Charlotte representatives in Amelia Gold and Lydia Gold. The City of Brotherly Love represented as well. Philadelphia Curling Club, PA. Sarah Basiri. And they will play on. Now Merrill having to throw first, of course, in this deficit, which makes their job even more difficult. That one's going to go all the way through. So Lydia Gould. One of two representatives of the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Just about a 2.5, 3 hour drive from where we currently sit in Durham. Triangle Curling Club, first time hosting the juniors qualifiers here, where our two automatic qualifiers to the juniors national championships have already been decided. Team Carlson from the men's and Team Neal from the women's. They will make up a field of 8, 6 of which have been determined from the automatic qualifiers at the sites. The last 2 are determined from overall standings of remaining eligible teams based on the world's rankings. Maria Allen. Shot falls short. Might get across. Just about does.
Oh, they're leaving it in play.
Betteridge will take a look.
They're debating whether or not it fully crossed the hog line.
Even if it's just touching, slightly so, that'll remove it. And they will remove it.
They have removed it.
Gould, her second delivery.
Sweepers on this one early. Over and off was called as soon as it crossed the hog line. No more sweep necessary, and that will be a very nice guard.
Very good job for a lead. Exactly what you want to do. 1 in and a guard. Something I fail to do on a regular basis. Jillian Larmy now
trying to establish their own position in the house.
It's just going to hang around.
Just going to hang on barely.
That one equally is buried behind the yellow. Sarah Basiri now.
They're just trying to split the house. But this one is going to end up quite light, very far off in the corner. Ooh. Just barely unable to remove that center yellow guard.
Similarly to what we saw on sheet B, Team Merrill, the home team, if you will, for Triangle Curling Club. Summer Merrill, Julian Larmy, and Maria Allen all representing Triangle Curling Club, the host site. As well as Freya Stilp, who is representing Potomac Curling Club up in Maryland.
I don't want this one to roll too far back, but it is going to inch its way out of the back of the house. Now, what's interesting about this situation is we've gone from 4 games running on all 4 sheets. Now we're just down to games on the far sheets, which means the ice conditions are going to start changing.
Very true.
So just as these teams have gotten used to the ice being a particular way and with a particular amount of curl, now with fewer people on the ice, it's going to get a little bit frostier. The ice conditions are going to change, and these teams are going to have to readjust their play a little bit to account for that.
Try and usher that one into the edge of the house. It's going to settle just outside. Red currently sitting 2. Remember, they do not have the hammer.
Well, this is the position you want to be in if you're ready. You want to start establishing stones in the house for a potential steal. But there's still a lot of house open for yellow to come in right at the end. Oh, looks like this stone may have been burned, so it is being removed from play.
Sarah Basiri asking to curl around the other side. Betterbridge sticks to her guns. All 3 sweeping on this one. Basiri joins in.
Want to get around the guard and get it into the house.
Once again, it's going to be
Ooh,
just short.
Just short. And all these stones building up in the front of the house make it more and more difficult for a Yellowstone to get in at the end if they want to try and pick up some points with hammer. Meanwhile, this gives more and more opportunities to build up red stones in the house.
Merrill, first of two, skip stones here at the end of end number 6. Down by 5. Currently sitting 2. Trying to add to it.
This one's not going to have enough. And the sweepers are just going to let it get tied up out front.
Once again, you were talking about the shifting ice conditions. It's going to be a little bit colder out there because there's less bodies, which might be some of the slowness we're seeing in some of the rocks.
That's true. Difficult shot right here. Have to thread the needle between the guards and then settle inside the house to be shot.
Are able to split that gap. Hits the red
And
well.
the red. Well done.
Very good shot from Betteridge. So now could be the identical shot. They're going to draw around the other side. Merrill. There's a tight gap that Betteridge is able to find. Now they're sitting just 1 because that red is just barely biting at the back of the house. So this is Merrill's last shot, which is the only reason that made me think they might go for that exact same line and take out the yellow, because with this, the maximum you can get is just 1.
They're just going to take for a bit of a safer play here. Because if they leave this shot open, then the opposing team could do this nice draw to the button instead. Unfortunately, not enough weight and not able to reestablish control of the house. So now the draw is open for another Yellowstone to come in and score 2.
So they'll look for the identical shot. Trying to draw in behind as Betteridge looks to provide the dagger on this one. Here in end 6. Currently up 7-2. It was already a very difficult situation for Merrill, given that they would have to steal in consecutive ends. But now if there was any doubt, a real opportunity for Emma Betteridge to put an end to this one. The release from Betteridge. Last rock of inning number 6.
Vice is coming out of the house to help sweep the stone in. They got to keep it moving.
We've seen weight be an issue here this end as the ice is cooled off, and that'll settle out behind and be a single for yellow with hammer. And that will be a shake all around, wrapping up our final match. So it'll be 8-2, the final score. Emma Betteridge victory over Team Merrill. So that wraps up what has been a very exciting day, an exciting weekend, honestly, of curling action here at Triangle Curling Club. Their first time hosting a juniors event like this, and we got to see some incredible talent all throughout the weekend, but especially so today, as 2 of the teams were able to secure their qualification onwards. We wish them the best of luck, and we can certainly say thank you because we have enjoyed quite a lot here during this very compact weekend of curling.
It's been a lot of fun all around. A lot of great matches here at the end. It's really exciting to see so much talent, so many young curlers out there every day exploring. Every day, just keeping the sport of curling alive for the next generation. A lot of really talented folks out here today. And you never know where some of these young folks are going to be down the line. They're just going to keep getting better and better.
Exactly. So congratulations to Team Carlson, our men's juniors qualifier onto the national stage, and Team Neal, who secured from the women's side as well. They will go on to the national championship for the juniors, which we believe will be held in April. So this was a lot of fun hosting from Triangle Curling Club in Durham, North Carolina. I'm Zach Burley. Zakai Siegel. We say thank you for tuning in. We can't wait to see you back here at Triangle Curling very soon.